Travel listeners, what is happening? Been too long, but I'm back. Little update, check in a little bit. Had a chance to travel, so I wanted to give you that update and just reconnect. I enjoy doing this podcast, and I like sharing some information with those travel lovers that are out there like myself. But these times are weird, so I just wanted to take a step back and not force the content. Took a couple months off, and here I am. I just want to just give some updates real quick. Again, my name is Matt Javitt. I had the unique opportunity to travel the world with my wife for 27 straight months, 35 countries. And through that journey, we shared a ton. Formed this podcast. I have a website called passportjoy.com where we share all of our tips and tricks and other advice there. So check that out. Have a Amazon Prime show called World Barbershop Adventures that documents me in barber chairs in different cultures around the world. That has been a ton of fun to produce, and more episodes. You got 3 seasons currently on Amazon Prime. Another season coming here shortly. Got an opportunity in the pipeline for the fall for a variation of that. And that the Japanese version of that is blowing up. If I got any Japanese listeners right now, thank you so much. Please continue to spread the word. I know the podcast is downloaded in Japan, but if you're listening to this particular episode, just know that I'm very grateful for your viewership of that series in Japan, because it has really exploded, and it's been a lot of fun to watch that grow over there. So thank you. Love my time over there, and I've only released season 1 over there. I'm going to release season 2 here real soon. So thanks again for that. And that is it. So my goal on this is just to share ideas and advice and thoughts and all my travel insight, because I've been lucky enough to go to over 50 countries now and see parts of the world. So in this process of the COVID, Nikki and I had to cancel a trip to Mexico, and we also canceled an amazing trip we had planned to Morocco, and that we were really looking forward to. That was going to also be in a combination of Lisbon, Portugal again, where you guys know how much I love going to Lisbon, Portugal in June. That would have been my 3rd trip there. If you've never listened to me talk about Lisbon, please find those old podcasts, check those out, and listen to the times we had there, because it's an absolute blast. It is such a highlight in Europe, and everything that comes along with Lisbon is just amazing. So we've had to cancel those, but in the meantime, I had a chance to take a trip to Las Vegas. And so I just want to give you the insight about the Vegas trip, because I know a lot of people are still pretty nervous to travel, or they don't know what that means to go to somewhere, or they're just nervous about everything that goes along with it. So I just want to give my insight about the Vegas trip, because Vegas just opened. I've got in there on June the 5th. Vegas opened on June the 4th. So it was a chance to see Vegas open and experience life on the Strip right after the opening. And so I'm going to walk you through that. Just for a little background, I've been to Vegas many, many times. I lived in Las Vegas for a little over a year. This is back in 07 and 08. I lived there for about a year. So I know Vegas in and out. I've got great friends that live there, and I had a chance to see my buddy Ryan and his now my good friend Andrew, and hang out with those guys. So, and I got a couple barbershop visits in, got some ink done. Andrew is now a tattoo artist. I'm going to highlight that on the barbershop episode and his story a little bit. It's fantastic. I interviewed Andrew. I might share that later, because it's really inspiring with what he's doing as far as picking up a new skill, and he's extremely talented, and he's a great guy. I'm trying to do what I can to help him get off the ground with that. But yeah, so overall, I'll just walk you through it. So the trip out on the airplane, so the airports, both airports were pretty dead. It's real easy to get through the security line. There's not much to it. There's not many people in line. You got to wear a mask pretty much throughout the security check-in process, and then also while you're on the flight. But the flights are the airports are just eerily dead right now. So that whole process is real easy. And then when you get on your seat, so flying Southwest, I've been a huge Southwest fan forever. I advocated on their credit card last year because it gave you a chance to get a free companion pass. And the companion pass is awesome because essentially with that credit card sign up, with a companion pass, you can have somebody fly for free. I'm not sure if they have that going on anymore, but the companion pass is just a great and extra bonus. And I've got friends that utilizes it. My brother uses it a bunch, but you can bring somebody with you for free. So if you book it, then you can fly free. So I'm a huge fan of Southwest and the chance that pick your own seat, work in the system and log it in as quickly as you can. As soon as the window opens to log in, I usually get right in the front. So this was the case again. And I got emergency exit row, great seating, and there's nobody there because the middle seat's always open. So I've got a great seat in emergency row, nobody next to me. So it was like flying is amazing now because there's less people on the flights and you're not crowded. But you do have to wear a mask and you're not getting any in-flight service on a 3.5 hour, 4 hour flight. You really don't get much service. I think they gave a water, I think on the way home, but because they're slowly introducing new things into these flights, but it's extremely clean. I mean, extremely clean on these flights. And it's really, it's more relaxing now than it was prior to fly because there's less people on the flights. So flight out was easy. Land in Vegas, dead. Like the Vegas airport is usually humping, crazy packed, but it was dead. It was, so which again makes everything easy. Getting your bags is easy. Rented a car for the week, go get the rental car, real easy. And the reason I got a rental car was the parking at the casinos now is free. So typically parking was, I think it's like $18 to $22 a day. Stayed at Caesars on the Strip. So the idea was get a car because I knew I was going to go visit my buddy multiple times during the week, and also to use the car to go to some of the more authentic restaurants off the Strip. It helps you save a little bit of money and also get you off the Strip, and you get to go. There's great Chinatown and great Asian food spots, and also an opportunity to go to Fremont Street and things like that. So got a rental car, and that whole process, again, super easy because there's nobody there, and just kind of go through the process, and then get over to Caesars after a stop at the grocery store to pick up some items for the week. And check-in process was amazing. I actually got an easy upgrade, slipped a guy like a $20 bill at the check-in at Caesars, and he took care of me as far as getting a better room with a view of the pool. And that was it. Got logged in to Caesars and kind of got into the flow. And right off the bat that weekend, that first weekend, so this is the weekend of June 5th, it was kind of busy. So if you're familiar with Vegas and you're familiar with table games and everything, they have essentially eliminated it down to 3 people per table game. So like blackjack, 3-card poker, let it ride, things like that. 3 people on a table. You have to wear a mask. For roulette, 4 people on a table, where they're a little bit more lenient on the mask there, but I think you're supposed to wear a mask, but only 4 people on a table there. And then the craps tables have 6 players per table, which the craps tables, if you ever play craps, they usually get crazy packed. I didn't play any craps this weekend, or this trip. But and then the slot machines, they kind of had them randomly scattered of what you could play, based on, I don't know how they chose it, but they just wanted to keep people apart. So that first weekend was kind of like, it was buzzing a little, but there's not as many places to eat that are open, and as far as like fast food and stuff. And then the casino floor itself was kind of buzzing. And then we had a chance to go over to the Flamingo across the street. So you just take the little bridge across the street. And that was a little bit more packed because their table limits are lower, and it just had a different vibe to it. And that seemed a little bit busier on that first weekend. And then we took time to take in the pool. So the pool was obviously a big part of the trip. And the time at the pool was amazing because they try to go half capacity. And then obviously the hotel itself was probably only, 40% full. So time at the pool was amazing, and it was very relaxed. So obviously nobody's wearing a mask. I mean, there were some people wearing a mask, but it was very much the idea that if you're at the pool at the Caesars in Las Vegas, you're taking that risk to be among other people. But they socially distance everybody as far as the chairs goes. But I mean, it turned into a fun atmosphere as the day dragged on, because they had the bars were open and things like that. So it was definitely a typical Vegas pool, not necessarily a party, but scene. And it wasn't anything like a day club. If you're familiar with the day clubs in Vegas, it's nothing like that. Those aren't open, I think, until July. But it was still a good vibe. It was still good. Did that multiple times throughout the week. And then after that, so that week that weekend was a great vibe, not crazy busy. And then Monday and Tuesday were kind of slow. And then that next weekend it got nuts. It just seemed like it was really picking up. It seemed like there's a lot of Californians there, because I say that because the hotel was very much full as far as the parking lot was full. And the action pretty much doubled. It seemed like it doubled that weekend. And then the second weekend, there were much more tables filled. They seemed to be more lenient with the masks, and there seemed to be more slots. And then I also had a chance to go down to Fremont Street. So that's the old Vegas. For those that are familiar, that's like the Golden Nugget, Four Queens, stuff like that. And that's where they have the street performers outside. That was really buzzing. So we did that on Thursday night, and that was crazy packed. The street performers were doing their thing. It's awesome. If you've never been down to old Vegas, it's so much fun, because there's a lot of talented people on the streets doing different tricks and drumming their drums, and a lot of dancing and stuff like that. The casinos are just different because their limits are lower, so you have more people playing like $5 and $10 blackjack and stuff like that. So it's more of like a party atmosphere, and that's what it was. And it was a lot of fun, and it didn't seem like they were as strict with the masks as the folks on the Strip were. And I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but it was just a different atmosphere. And sometimes on Fremont Street, it seems to be more smoke in the air, a lot more smokers and stuff like that. So. But there's also more dining experiences available in Fremont as well, because it's all within walking distance. That's sometimes the problem on the Strip, is you've got such a far walk to the different places to either dine, hang out, get a drink, where Fremont Street everything's a lot closer together. So those walks aren't as far, and they even have like food truck options and things like that. So Fremont Street was buzzing. So if you like Fremont Street, that could be a great option to stay at the Golden Nugget or one of those places down there. And it was really wild was Saturday. So I got this awesome barbershop experience at the Cosmopolitan on Saturday. So that was the main reason to going over there. But we also had dinner plans that night, and it was crazy packed at the Cosmopolitan on Saturday. Just nuts. And that was like, it seemed like it was almost, I mean, I hadn't been there for 3 years, but it seemed like that. It seemed like it was just as normal as could be. You saw some masks. You saw some people that were extremely dressed up, like ready for the nightclub type situation. I know one of the nightclubs one of the bar areas was like sold out. They were still doing a social distancing thing within the bar, but they were basically all tables, and it was sold out that night. And everywhere, all the different tables were packed, and then going out to dinner, the restaurant was packed. So the buzz was real. And then it came back that Sunday in the airport. Again, flying out of Vegas was dead, and that's why I thought that a lot of the travelers were Californians, because the airport was just so dead. And obviously getting through security was about as easy as you can in Vegas, and flight home was super easy. But so I just wanted to share that, because I know that there's a lot of anxiety about traveling right now. It's like so deep in my core that I just need to go see some places and go travel, and that was an opportunity to get away and hang out with some buddies out there. But I don't know, everybody's treating this thing differently, and I respect all the opinions with it. And in those conversations that I have with people, however you feel about it, I've gone through my different phases with COVID-19. As you guys remember, if you listen to the podcast, when I came back from Philippines, we were in lockdown mode. I knew something was coming. I felt it. It's kind of crazy. Some of the things that, if you listen to that podcast, how I was way ahead of the decisions that were made in our country. And through the process, I haven't really necessarily changed my attitude, but I've changed how I'm looking at it a little bit. And so that's why I respect everybody's opinion on the matter, whether you think traveling is absolutely crazy, or if you're in the opinion like, yeah, let's all go travel, let's do this thing. That's why I just want to put this out there, so those that are considering traveling but you're just not sure, that was my experience. In full transparency, I came home, I ended up having an ear infection, and I was a little under the weather. So I got a COVID test because I'm going to have some time with my family coming up, and I don't want to expose anybody. So I got a COVID-19 test, and I'm negative. So for those that are nervous, they're going to get something by being amongst a lot of people. That was my experience. I came back negative, and I'm good to go. So, and as far as like the future of travel, what's it look like? Man, I'm clueless right now. I'm clueless. You've got what's going on in our current environment with the outbreaks continuing to flow. How will that change what we do in the coming months? I'm not sure. My biggest fear is this second wave, a potential second wave. If you look at what's going on in China right now in Beijing, that's what makes me the most nervous, is the idea that if China has a second wave, that means our second wave would come in the heart of our flu season, which would be September through November. And if we get a second wave during that time, man, I think everything's off the table. All travel's off the table, and things are back. Even if we don't lock down, I still think that people are really going to take some hard decisions to maybe not do things they want to do. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what the future holds, but I think that everybody is looking at this thing in a different way, and I just think you stay within the realm of what you're comfortable doing. If that means traveling, taking a road trip with some friends, that means getting on a long flight. I say do with what you're comfortable with, but I think at this point we all understand what the potential risk is, especially not only personally, but then those that you come back and come in contact with. So my encouragement would be is, if you're going to do something like I did, and you do take a kind of an educated risk, that come back and do the socially responsible thing and either get a test if you feel like you might have some symptoms, or just for the knowledge, but because you don't want to affect those around you just because you decided that you wanted to go do something. So that is it. Love any feedback, love any thoughts, but Vegas was awesome, a lot of fun, definitely needed it, and it was a blast, and I appreciate the fellas out there taking care of me, and it was a lot of fun. So that's it. Until next time, I don't got anything huge coming up, but I might jump in here in the next few weeks to give some highlights, but appreciate all the support, and great catching up. Take care.